Amanda.
And this is Alex from Night of the Batman. And this is our first recording of the new year. So, welcome.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, so we had a whole year of the podcast, and now we're back into the Amanda's phone. But also we're back into the Night of Owls coverage. So we're looking forward. I almost said Court of Owls. That struggled with that for a minute, but we're going to get back into this issue, and spoiler alert, you like this more than the Maze issue, so we're already on. It's probably good, but I want it. There we go.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyway, question though.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's New 52 Batman, or the New 52 Batman. Is there an old 52? Why is it 52? What's new about it? What's the fun, new, funky, fresh thing? Why is it New 52?
Do you want the actual answer, or is this just a bit?
Both.
The actual answer, from the best of my memory, is that there were 52 Earths, and so it's New 52 after whatever the past crisis was. I think the crisis that kicked that off was Flashpoint.
Okay, and I know Flashpoint is where Flash goes back and tries to change something, and
save
then
his mom.
In return, Bruce Wayne dies, his dad becomes Batman, all of that stuff. Yeah? And
Yeah,
Superman's evil, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Flashpoint, but
Okay.
Anyway,
I guess
you were gonna do your summary.
Yeah. All right. So also sorry. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Anyway.
Talking like what?
But yeah.
Oh, you do that anyway. Is that unusual for you?
I don't know. I'm not very self-aware. I just open my mouth and words come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we open back up. Bruce is monologuing, as Bruce does, because at heart he's just a teenage girl. And he's wallowing in self-pity.
Yeah.
About how he doesn't really know this city, and he thought he knew this city, and then boom, Alfred turns on these low-level laser illumination lights that have the city of Gotham, and Bruce is all like, "Ah, the sun!"
Yeah, his eyes hurt for some reason.
Well, probably from being in the dark for so long under in the maze system, and then additionally he had actual damage to his eyes. Which Alfred mentions.
Was it from the flash bulbs, or what was it from?
I'm not sure. It's not specified.
But we haven't read this since last year, to be fair, guys.
Yeah.
But
anyway. But yeah, and so Bruce and Alfred are talking. Bruce is wallowing. Alfred is giving him genuine advice. And Bruce calls himself an arrogant fool, which, accurate. Bruce is an extremely arrogant man.
Well, yeah, because he thinks he's speaking in metaphors and stuff. He's like, no, I'm actually worried about you, dude. Kind of vibe. He doesn't say that exactly, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he's being clever. He's like, no, dude, your eyes are messed up. That's what I'm saying.
And then boom, intruders, and Bruce Alfred into the Bat Cave, and Bruce is like, I've got an earpiece and lens. You help me from down there. You tell me what's going on.
Also, real quick, before we move past this point, since you are flipping through, I thought it was kind of cool. And again, I know you don't prefer the the guided view, but it makes you appreciate the art a little bit more. And so I used the digital, the guided view for this. And there's a moment where you see Alfred descending to the cave, and then Bruce going up to the attic and everything. And it doesn't really mean anything necessarily. It's just kind of cool visually, so I just appreciated that little moment. Yeah.
It turns out that there are a bunch of Talons in the house attacking, so Bruce fights them. He takes down a couple of them. He's overwhelmed. They are everywhere. They're all in the house. It makes me think of the Gotham Knight series, when they're the owls are in the house.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Because they're quite literally all in his house, and they've infiltrated from every direction, and Alfred is overwhelmed, and you hear Alfred sir, you need help, I can, and then you hear a hoo-hoo, and he just he goes quiet, and Bruce is like, oh no, the man who raised me. I've got to go save him. I'm paraphrasing.
No, when you did the hoo thing, and I don't usually try to mention other shows' jokes on this, but there's a funny thing on Comic Pop, which is they're one of my big inspirations for like comic book podcasting. You guys should check them out. But they have a thing on like Court of Owls stuff, and like two of their buddies, like whenever they bring up the owls, just start like poking like they're like an actual owl, like pecking at somebody, going like hoo 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 like that, like, and it's just really funny. That's what that reminded me of when you did that. Anyway, you can keep going.
Bruce impales one of the Talons with a weather vane, and then he hits his button on his chimney, and he channels his inner Santa Claus, because he trained under Santa Claus. It is canon.
That's canon.
And slides down a chimney. Into the Batcave, where he fights Talon, and then Alfred shows up with a freaking axe, because Alfred is so cool, and they get the Talon. Oh.
And I was gonna say really quick, he's using lethal force in this because they're undead, and I thought that was kind of a cool little thing. But yeah, anyway, that was the thing I was gonna say.
Yep. So he breaks his Talon's arm, takes out this like little microchip thing. Has Alfred do some like investigation on it, like by hiding in the armory. And while in the armory, he puts on this big bat mecha, basically. One
of the most memorable moments in this whole series. It's one of the big things I remember from back when I read this. It's like 2011, so I was still in high school at this point, but I do remember this moment.
Babies. But yeah, so he comes out in this big mecha, and he's like, get the hell out of my house. And his plan is to freeze all of the Talons that are in there by getting it below Sub-Zero.
Which is really smart.
Yeah, which is smart. Like, Bruce is smart. I'll give him that.
You can tell the writer's smart, too, though. Like, coming up with, like, an idea like that.
Yep. Turns out the microchip he stole was a list of, like, a kill list, basically, like a Deadpool. And it's got the list of all of the influential people in Gotham, including Commissioner Gordon, the mayor, the city
there's like another like commissioner. Did you already say another commissioner? Because there's like two of them, right, or something?
It's like a different commissioner, but yeah, like there's just a lot of there's just a lot of people. The head of the city planning commission, Gotham's commissioner of cultural affairs, not culinary. I'm sorry.
Can you imagine if they came for? We're coming for everybody, even the culinary affairs.
Yeah. I apologize. I am sitting with this way far away from my face.
You don't have to have them know our secret behind the scenes.
Well, I was gonna say I'm sorry that I have bad vision. Even with my glasses on, like, I have bad vision. I need stuff like within 6 inches of my face to really be able to read and process.
Right.
Yeah. You get this black page, and you just keep seeing the list of people, and it's absolutely wild. And Oswald Cobblepot is on there.
It is.
Never mind. Anyway.
The American way is Lucius.
We're gonna
spend all day on this, okay?
It is a Roman name, so the proper way to say it is not Lucius. Anyway, then Batman's like, hey, call the fam.
Yeah.
I think he actually says call the fam, doesn't he?
Are you going to tell the readers
he says,
or listeners about how, like, you, like, started nerding out whenever you saw the whole Bat family? Because you did. You're just like, there's a Robin and there's a Red Hood.
I was like, there are two different Robins. I was like, there are two different Robins. Because I'm assuming that's Red Robin.
When he was younger, too.
That's Red Robin is Tim Drake, right?
Yeah, that was a change they made in the New 52 stuff.
Yeah, because like Tim Drake, they have Red Robin, they've got Red Hood, they have Robin, they have Nightwing, they have Batgirl, and then they have Katana, Black Canary.
They're just the Birds of Prey.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was very confused as to why Black Canary was in this. But, like, I did not connect that she's part of the Birds of Prey.
I think that the girl, and it doesn't say it, but if I were to assume, that's probably Huntress. They don't really say.
Okay. And are you sure the blonde is Black Canary?
Yeah, because she's worn a suit like that before.
I hate it.
It's an alternate
suit. It is an ugly suit. I'm sorry.
It reminds you of your cosplay.
So who's the artist on this?
They have different artists for that certain one.
Was it Greg Capullo?
No, that's because the later stuff is the other artist. I think it's Raphael Albuquerque, if I had to guess.
Sir, if you are by some better.
He's just doing it based off somebody else's design.
Well, whoever designed that, that's an ugly suit design. Do better.
I could find that out for you. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, the whole Bat family gets like this call to arms, and they're all sent the list. And I told Alex, I was like, I guarantee Batgirl is going to be awful partial to saving Commissioner Gordon, because,
bias.
That's her father.
Yeah.
Yep. So then Alfred is trying to keep the lines open to the Batcave for as long as he can, and he's wishing them all good luck. And Alfred's like, God help us all, and that's how it ends. And we all know that it's Batman. He's the main character. His plot armor. He's not going to die. So, I feel like every Batman story is really low stakes. Because, he's not going to die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, really any story other than, Game of Thrones, if you're going to take the wind out of its sails, is, probably the main character is going to live through this. You just assume.
I take that, and I raise Attack on Titan.
Well, again, with the only certain exceptions, that's why those shows stand out, or those books stand out more, because they take those risks. They're not the norm.
I'm trying to think. So, to be fair...
Anyway, before we were going to go on to that, though, I was going to mention, I just didn't want to interrupt you while you were doing your summary. The secondary artist in this, I'm blanking on his name, but the one you insulted his drawing of that suit. If I'm not mistaken, at the... Let me see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll put it in the description.
Wait, no. It should be on the first. This one.
Okay, so
penciler was Greg Capullo, and the inker was Jonathan Glapion.
No, that's for the first story. The call is Raphael Albuquerque. Okay, so I was right. Yeah, so before I read the Court of Owls, the Night of Owls stuff, I think I read American Vampire, where it was Scott Snyder and Raphael Albuquerque, and I really like his art style. It's not, I prefer Greg Capullo's Batman stuff over that, but he's one of my top artists, so that's not really a fair fight. But I do like Raphael Albuquerque's stuff. I think it really lends itself to the more horror feel of this, as well as this book had more of a horror feel to it, which I feel is more of a thing that Batman should embrace, because I know there are stories, but it would be kind of fun to have a Batman book that's just focused on horror related stuff, not necessarily ghosts and stuff, but you know what I mean, maybe a little bit more
stuff that's more Spawn-esque,
or this, where it's kind of the more creepy.
I guess
I would like that, but yeah, I don't know. I liked it. It's not for everybody though. You really like this issue. I really liked it too. It's one of the highlights for me.
To be fair, I do think that I've been getting into more psychological stuff, at least in the media I'm consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, as evident by the anime that I binged on Monday.
Oh, the
Madoka Magica.
Yeah. By the way, anyone out there,
what did the girls just break?
I don't know. Weekend 2 of Ichiban. I almost said Triad, but Ichiban is this weekend, and so if you guys are looking, if you guys have because sometimes this happens, I did notice at the convention this weekend that some people were dressed up as comic book characters, but there is some crossover sometimes, so if you guys are also anime fans, I would highly recommend that convention. It's, and they have a thing now where it's for sensory. For week 2, it's for people with sensory issues. So, I think that's really great. I feel more conventions should have that option. I think it's kind of nice that they're doing it. But, yeah, I really like this issue. It's a highlight. I don't really have much, if any, negatives.
So this was all like very
Actiony.
actiony and like I guess
So you didn't like it as much.
I would have enjoyed more exposition, more like character building, but I understand that this is a Batman comic and that character building is less important than like the action scenes. It doesn't mean I have to like it, but it wasn't a bad issue.
You said you liked this issue.
I do like the issue.
You were like, yeah, I heard you after you read it. Anyway, there's also a brutal. I forget this, and I did mention it when I was reading it. But like, there's a moment where like they're killing the different city officials, and there's a woman in a wheelchair, and they just pitch her off of like the building or something, and I'm like, that's like brutal. Like, I don't know. Like, there's some wild moments in this, guys. Like,
I don't have that. Like oh yes, it's right here. Okay,
yeah, it's really quick. Like, it's kind of like you see your silhouette a little bit, or like it from like far away.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's probably this is a really like technical thing. You probably missed it because I read it digitally, so I got to see more of the panels. But like sometimes how they bind books is like if there's like a panel at the far corner, like you kind of can't see it as clearly because of how they put the books together.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened.
So, what do you think about some of the names that were included on the list? Like, including Commissioner Gordon or Oswald Cobblepot.
Oswald Cobblepot
Lucius Fox.
Because I'm trying to think, without going into spoilers, I know you don't care about it. I don't know if those were just names to put on there, because I know they kill some of the city officials, but like unless it was in a tie-in or something, I don't even remember the Penguin factoring into this story, so it might have just been like a name to put on the list. So I don't know if that ever gets paid off. I guess we'll see.
Like a Taylor Swift-esque Easter egg?
I guess.
You didn't like my reference.
People talk about Taylor Swift too much. For the record, I don't hate her or anything. I just think since the Eras tour, it's inescapable. And I'm like, I like some of her songs. I would like the news to cover something else for just a little bit, just so I can have a break. But I get like that with everything where I reach like critical mass of like hearing about something where I'm like, all right, enough. Like it can be like most anything about enough.
To be fair, I feel like a lot of that is on your feed because you like it and send it to me. And so I feel like you do
recommend it show less, but yeah.
I was going to say, so I do feel like you did some of that to yourself,
Yeah, but anyway, did you have anything or any other things or any other predictions for the future? Or
I mean, Barbara's gonna save her dad. That's my only prediction. It's pretty chill, pretty good.
Your stock on this really went down since you read it. I thought you would have been a lot more like, yeah, this is really cool. But yeah, I forgot you don't like action. It's cool. Each their own.
I like it. It read quickly, so that was nice. I don't dislike it.
I wasn't like. No, I was just like, it's cool. It's sometimes whenever, like, before we start recording, when you'll be, like, really, like energized about, oh, cool, she's going to love this. And then, like, it's always interesting once we start recording, seeing, like, how sometimes I'm wrong and then sometimes I'm right. It's always interesting seeing that.
That's because I don't start critically thinking about the media that I'm interacting with.
Yeah.
Until we start talking about it, and then I process it out loud. Because I do a lot of verbal processing in general, and so, like, even with media, I have to, like, figure out how I'm feeling as I'm talking about it. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah. And then, so for me, just to kind of wrap it up here, I like the issue a lot. Like you were kind of saying, it is an action issue, so there's not really much to talk about, like, story-wise in this. Like, stuff did happen. Like, there's some great set pieces in this, and, like, some great moments where, like, even Bruce gets to crack some one-liners in this, where he's like they're like, the Court of Owls, blah, 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 like, one of the talents comes in there. He's like, yeah, I got it the first time. And then what was interesting is that, like, I think I told you this before when we were going into Gotham Knights, like, unlike in that show, the towns kind of have a personality sometimes. Like, they talk and, like, they'll laugh sometimes too, which is interesting.
Yep. I do think it was fascinating how they did spotlight the different officials that were dying at that same moment. So I'm assuming that it's supposed to be like parallel. So like all of these events are happening parallel to Bruce's Batcave being infiltrated.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe if I was a Batman girly and I had a connection or I cared about these characters.
He crushed one of the Talons under the penny. I forgot about that, but that's something that happened in the Batcave, where like he had him like pinned under the giant penny, right there.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was a penny. I did not know what was going on. Why does he have a giant penny?
The penny plunderers. It's like an old Batman story. He collected it and put it in the cave.
Do you know any of the people who are getting killed? Like,
no, they're just random. As far as I know, I've never heard of them before.
Okay, because I felt like, it'd be better if they were like,
I mean,
characters that you were connected to and cared about.
I'm just saying for me, I mean, there is one person that knows too much about Batman, Ben, that might know who they are. Huh. Yeah, because that's his thing. It's his he uses that like subtitle a lot for himself on there.
So I'm gonna say it on air so that way we have to do it. We are gonna have a special a special volume coming out next week. That'll be different from what we're normally doing. So we're gonna have an extra episode next week.
We are?
Yeah, we promised. Because next week would be a week from today is January 17th. Do you know what January 17th is?
Your birthday?
Yes.
I was gonna see how long I could wait before you were just like, you don't remember? But yeah, what is it? What are we announcing that I'm gonna do?
It's not that you are gonna do. We were gonna rank Nightwing costumes is what we're going to do. Yeah. We talked about this.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I completely forgot. It's been a busy week, guys. Anyway, are you guys out there, anybody, would love to hear from you, but are you guys reading along with us? Are you just like listening? Because sometimes I'll do that. Like sometimes I'll listen to a podcast even if I haven't read whatever they're covering in like a long time. I'll do that sometimes. But yeah, like what do you guys think of this? Did you like it?
Whose takes do you like more? Who do you agree with?
Exactly. Probably
you, because I have not very good takes. Anyway.
Everyone has a right to their own opinion. But yeah, anyway, this has been Night of the Batman. I'm Alex.
I'm Amanda.
We will come up with the catchphrase eventually.